Hey guys, it's Miss Matthews again, back with some more social studies. So today's going to be kind of a quick lesson, just something that is pretty useful to know. So today we're going to be learning about what it means to be a citizen, and there's different types of citizenship and ways to become citizen. So it's basically how it's basically how to live your life, how you're supposed to live your life in the United States, how to be an upstanding citizen, and if you're not a citizen, how do you become one? And there's different types of citizenship. So we're going to learn about that today. So it's going to be relatively short. So here are our objectives, what it means to be a U.S. or United States citizen, different kinds of citizenship, and how people become a U.S. citizen. So the definition, this is kind of a quote. So a native or naturalized member of state or nation who owes allegiance to its government and entitles it to its protection. So that's basically what sums up of a citizen. So it's basically somebody that's either was born here or was naturalized, which we'll learn about later, of the state or the union. So, state being like Tennessee, Texas, Kentucky, stuff like that. Or the nation would be the United States of America, who owes allegiance. So, that means you owe yourself to the government. Sorry, email. You owe yourself to the government and you try to protect it. So, that's basically what a citizen is. So, the rights of a U.S. citizen. So, you are U.S. citizens. We can vote, unless you're gonna have to be 18 to vote, but you can vote in federal elections. So you can vote for the president, the mayor, the governor, stuff like that. But you have to be 18. Be able to serve on a jury. So remember how in my last video, if you watched it, a jury is the person that when you go to court, and it's that big, not big, but it's made up of 10 or 12 people that decide on whether or not you go to jail. So you have the judge with the gavel, and then they have the 12 people that ultimately make the decision. But you could serve on the jury if you're a U.S. citizen. You could travel with a U.S. passport. So I have a passport, and I can since I'm a U.S. citizen, I have a passport, so I could travel outside of the country and then be able to come back into the States because I have a passport. Be able to run for federal office. Remember, president, House of Rep, senator, stuff like that. You can run for those, but you have to be a certain age. Definitely not 10, but you have to be a certain age to run for those offices. And then be able to obtain federal grants and scholarships. So those would be like money you receive from somebody else to either go to college, like for scholarships. You know how some people do football and they get a football scholarship. Yep, that's the same thing. So you can only get those if you're a U.S. citizen. So those are some of the rights. Then we have some of our responsibilities. So defending and supporting our Constitution. So whatever's in the Constitution, all of the rules, regulations, laws, we are defending it as a responsibility of U.S. citizen, serving our country in the military when needed. So that's not everybody. You don't have to say bye to mom right now, but some people like to serve. Like my parents have served in the military. My uncle, a lot of people in my family have served because that was their calling. But that's one of the responsibilities if you choose to, take it. Respecting the laws, just like the Constitution, respecting individual rights of others too. That's a really big one. So basically, being caring towards other people and understanding that they're people and they're also citizens, and being active in your community by serving serving your community, like maybe giving back, food bank, stuff like that. So giving back to your community. Like I said earlier, one of the objectives was there's different kinds of citizenship. So there's citizenship through naturalization, citizenship through a parent, and then dual citizenship. That's a mouthful. Say that 3 times fast. All right, so we have citizenship through naturalization. So this is granted to somebody that is a permanent resident or a green card member. This citizenship through naturalization is given to someone who was not born naturally here in the United States. So just for example, say somebody came up from Mexico and he holds a green card, he's allowed to be here, and he lives here, he would go through citizenship through naturalization because he wasn't technically born here, but he lives here and resides here. So, but there's a lot of ins and outs of that we'll talk about later. But definitely he has a green card, and it's somebody that's not born here. Then we have citizenship through a parent. So, say I was born, like for me, instance, I was born in Italy. I was born on U.S. soil, so I'm good. But let's say that I wasn't. I was born somewhere not on U.S. soil, so I was born outside of the U.S. But at least you have to have at least one parent in that is a U.S. citizen. So my mom and dad were U.S. citizens, so I could become a U.S. citizen, if that makes sense. So citizenship through a parent means that at least one person is a U.S. citizen. Then we have dual citizenship, is obtain citizenship in more than one country. So I can have citizenship here, Italy, somewhere else, just like that. Citizens in the United States and another country, just like I said. How to become a U.S. citizen. So again, there's requirements and steps that you have to fill out and you have to fulfill before, if you're not a natural born citizen. So if you were not born here, or one of your parents is not a U.S. citizen, then you should probably go through the steps to become a natural citizen of the United States. Okay, so the requirements: you have to be 18 or older, lived here legally for 5 years, understand English writing, reading, and speaking, and then the basics of history, government, and constitution. So basically you have to be 18, live here for 5 years, understand English language, and then know your history. And then there's 4 basic steps. So you have to fulfill all citizen requirements before you start the steps. So first you have to complete the application, which just talks about your family, employment, criminal background, etc. It's just a simple application that you have to fill out. Then step 2, you have to be photographed and fingerprinted, normal. And then step 3, you have to be interviewed. So during the interview process, they test you about knowledge on the English language, and they also test you about the history. And the current government. So like, who's the president? How many senators are there? How many states are there? Stuff like that. Understand the written language. What does this say? Tell me how to say this in English, stuff like that. So that's what happens during the interview process. Then you go to court, take an oath of allegiance to the United States, so saying that you are for the United States, and then all the steps are completed, and you are now a U.S. citizen. So y'all don't really have, I don't think y'all have to really worry about becoming a U.S. citizen, because probably most of you were born right here in Memphis, Whitehaven area. So a lot of people that come over from different countries usually have to go through these steps. But that's basically all I have. Here's the citations and whatnot. But also, I really hope y'all are having a great day. That's all I had. I told you it was going to be short. But I really hope that y'all are having a great day, and I hope this lesson was kind of informative. It's kind of cool to me that you have to go through all these steps to become a citizen. But I want y'all to kind of research and look into this too. It's a really cool subject to look at. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I love you all and miss you. Bye. If I can stop recording.